Welcome to the inaugural episode of Rajin's Garage. Let's go for a little trip. So, a lot of you know, hopefully, who've come over from the other channel. I mainly do gaming content. I also do a series called Lost and Found about America's dirt racetracks that have been abandoned and forgotten and neglected over the years, with the exemption of some. But today, since I am a gearhead and I can't stop myself. We're going to be racing 24 Hours of Lemons in October for the Halloween Hoopty Fest. Now, if you don't know what 24 Hours of Lemons is, it is a 24-hour endurance race for $500 beaters. That's pretty much what it boils down to. So this year, we are going to be racing this. It's a 2007 Subaru Legacy 5-speed. I picked it up for $300. It's just one slight problem. Yeah, no engine. And of course I'm doing this all by myself today, so my camera work is gonna be horrible. You guys are gonna have some amazing shots today. But the car is really nice. It was a insurance total. Because of that, whatever, their loss, my gain. So over the next number of months, you're gonna see this slowly get worked on, torn apart, have an engine put in it, and yes, don't worry, I have an engine. So that's what we're gonna be working on today. So right here, this is the intake that was on the car. This is the intake that was on the engine that I have. No, this is just another intake that I had in the scrap pile that is not from the motor that I have. Just remember that. But they are the same, which is nice. I don't know what I'm doing yet. This is the motor. Yeah. It's been sitting for 4 years. 4 years? 4 years in the back of a car. As you can see, I disassembled, I pulled the valve cover off, and I started to take the cylinder head off, and then I gave up on it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to bother tearing it apart. So missing the oil sensor here. It's missing the VVT sensor there. I'm just going to put a junk VVT sensor in it. I never grabbed it. I have it. It's in the back of the junk car. All these oil sensors are going to be replaced because that was the demise of this engine. One of them was leaking. I believe it was this one. Was leaking like a sieve and was running down the side of the motor. As you can see, it's all oily in here. It was running down the side of the motor. Well, you wouldn't even be able to tell if that was oily or not because no valve cover. And is there something else missing on that side? No, I guess not. I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm a little petrified. Being that this motor, I just pulled it out of a junk car from sitting for 4 years. It's going to be interesting. We're going to run no emissions, obviously. This wasn't an automatic. I do have the flywheel and I have a clutch disc. I still need to get a pressure plate. I need to find this valve cover. We were doing this in the snow, the sleet, freezing rain yesterday. So there are a lot of things that I overlooked when we got this motor out. We actually had to rip the car apart to get the motor out of the back because the hatch was rusted shut. So let me set you guys up, and we're going to start working on this motor. Okay, well, that took about 10 minutes, way too long to get that camera set up. So since I can't find the tripod, I got a shovel stuffed in the ground, the phone taped to the shovel. Yeah, it'll work. So last night when I got home, I sprayed because it stayed in the truck overnight, I soaked this side down with WD-40. I sprayed all the intakes and the spark plug holes on this side with PE Blast, let it run down into the cylinders. I did get it to spin by hand before I loaded it in the truck yesterday at the mill, but I'm still not thrilled about this motor, but it's going to have to survive 24 hours at Loudon. So, wrong ratchet. I got my handy dandy waterproof tool case out today, so we don't have to constantly be running back and forth into the house, down to the basement and grab tools out of the toolbox. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get down in there on the other side. Once I got an extension over here, yep, and pull these two remaining spark plugs out. And you don't have to worry about using a ratchet and stripping stuff out. No, something like this. You must have to worry about the right size extension though. That is one thing you got to worry about. So you can get down in there, because it is a Subaru and spark plugs are just way down in there. Get them right out of there. That actually looks really good still. I am really shocked. Of course I left my booty on. God damn it. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, yep, about the same. About the same, which is kind of nice. So I'm not gonna, obviously I'm gonna have to get new spark plugs because I'm missing two. But I'm really happy. That actually shows me that this engine was actually running really good when we pulled it. But like I said, I can't remember if it was knocking or not. So that's a huge issue. And you can see PB Blast all over the place now. Oh, I don't know if you can see that or not. So next thing I want to do, I kind of want to run these guys in on low torque mode and just seat them. I'm not going to I'm gonna have to leave myself a note on those, because I'm gonna have to break them all free, I think, and then torque them to yield again, because these are torque to yield head bolts. Subaru, actually, I learned this now that I've been working for Subaru. Subaru actually calls to reuse head bolts when you do head gaskets, those things, you know. And that kind of shocked me. Whenever I've done pulled heads on anything, whether it be a small block Chevrolet or Subaru, I've always put new head bolts in. So that is a huge thing that just bugs me. So one thing I want to do, I notice there's a washer down in this intake valve here. So I'm gonna have to find my screwdrivers wherever in the world I put them, or a pair of pliers. See. Always nice to just have stuff laying around. How this washer got jammed down in there is beyond me. Yeah, I need a screwdriver. I need to pop that for you. Alright, I'm back. I got my screwdriver set here. Another reason I didn't have to run down the house. It was just in the car from last night. This is unbelievable. How in the world, unless, I wonder if I should spin this over. Yep, there goes all the PD blast at the bottom. That's going to be good for stress preventative of the truck. Got that valve open a little bit. You might have to get that washer to move around. Oh, don't be breaking screwdrivers and shit off in there. Sweet. How in the world did that get jammed down in there that I can't get it back out? I gotta bring you guys over here so you guys can see this. So right down in there, I don't know if that's gonna let it. Oh, yep, there it is. You can kind of make it out down. Yep, that thing. I know it's not zooming in well, but that is not coming out. I'm going to spend a little bit more time rotating that motor over, see if I can't get that valve to move a little bit more. I think it's just jammed down in there, so we're going to see. This just does not seem like this. There we go. I got it. Yeah. Just took a little finessing. And I don't understand why that valve really isn't moving. That worries me just a little bit. It's closed now. I don't know, let's rotate her over a little bit more and check it out. See what happens here. Can is breaked out. I don't remember it being breaked out. Oh, that sounds amazing. There we go. Now I'm just gonna grab a hammer. I'm gonna tap that with the hammer. See what the hammer's. I don't exactly know how Subarus work, but sure, this one doesn't move much either. So it's like the outside ones really move, the inside ones don't move all that much. I don't know. I don't know. But there's a bunch of junk down in those cylinders, so I'm going to put my water. Take a drink of that, actually. But I'm going to take the old air hose. I'm going to spray out in the intake tracks. I know I probably should have done that first, but so it's got a lot of crap to it. Wow. Nice and clean already. Love it. Oh, there's some pieces of broken. Some pieces of broken glass from yesterday when the rear hatch glass shattered on us. That's really nice and clean in there now. I'm happy. Alright. So, the next big thing, as the PB blast sits all in the channels with my tailgate and all that, and when I shut my tailgate, gonna run down the bumper and whatever. It's a work truck. I don't own it technically. The bank does. Ah. So, I got the motor spins over. Okay, you know, nothing to really write home about. And I just got PB blast all over my pants. That's awesome. Yep. Perfect. Love it. Great. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to exchange my 12-point socket. I might actually give these things a little bit of a snug. I'm going to need an extension for that one. That's just in there too darn tight. So we'll throw the extension on here and we'll snug it down. There we go. Alright, last thing we're going to do here before tackling that flex plate and changing over to the flywheel. Here we go. I wanted to get that cleaned up. Of course, I'm all over my damn glasses. And that's amazing. All over my face, everywhere. Oh well, whatever, no biggie. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two spark plugs back in, the two that I do have. I'm not going to put them in there tight. I'm just going to thread them right in. Alright, now we got the spark plug threaded back in that side. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to put in this side. So I think, I don't even know if I want to try to blow those out. Maybe I will. Take a gamble. Alright, gamble taken. Oh well. It's a junkyard motor. It was destined for the scrapyard. Been sent for 4 freaking years. If the thing runs for 2 days, I'm gonna be freaking tickled pink. So, alright. Swap out our 12.14. We're gonna go with the D1214 just because I like D12s. I'm gonna go too crazy on this thing. Are these 14s or are they 13s? Huh. This poor little impact. I got a good battery in it. No, I got a good battery in it. Alright. And I can't even get the sockets out of the tray. Yeah. Freaking there it is. Alright. Here we go. That's incredible that they won't come out. I don't think they're 13s. No, they're definitely 14s, but for some reason they won't come out. I don't want to have to go get the big impact and start breaking stuff, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Desperate times. Watch, I'm going to start breaking bolts now. That'll be lovely. It's amazing what happens when you swap to something bigger. I can go back to this little guy. spin them the rest of the way out. And there we go, one flex plate that I no longer need. Now I can go get the flywheel, and if I have the appropriate bolts, I can put the flywheel on. So shockingly enough, all 8 flywheel bolts were sitting in the floorboard of the car. Exactly where I figured they'd be, next to the flywheel, of course. Flywheel is a little gross, so I'm going to hit her with the old WD-40. I would take the cheek poker to it, but nah. I'll just let riding the clutch do that for a little bit. Like I said, this is not putting a lot of effort into it, not putting a lot of money into it, just getting it together, back running so we can race it. So, let me get up in the back of the truck. This thing, though it's small, it still isn't that light. Oh, dear. No. Oh, my fingers are so tight in here. There we go. It's all seated now. I can start threading these bolts in. I do not have a torque wrench. I do not know what the torque specs are. Wing it. I don't think I've ever torqued flywheel bolts down, but I will do it in a crosshatch pattern, as you would with any circular bolt pattern. Obviously what this is going to do is not going to be final torque. Oh, it's also on low torque too. That might help the problem. Torqued. So now we got the flywheel on in place of the flex plate. Now, maybe some of you are thinking, why didn't you put the ring back on? I didn't see you with the ring. The ring does not work with the manual transmission flywheel. It is only there for the automatic flex plate. I cannot reassemble the rest of the clutch as I don't have a pressure plate right now. I do have a clutch disc. It's really nice. It's almost brand new. But when the motor was pulled out of this, the flywheel, the throwout bearing, and the clutch disc were saved. The pressure plate was hucked in the scrap pile because there were some broken fins on it and everything like that, or fingers, however you want to call it. So next thing I want to do on the motor today, probably one of the last things I do until I get to cleaning up all the intake runners and everything. Actually, we're going to look at the intake manifolds a little bit too before we get done today. Is I did pull one of the timing covers off, so we're going to reassemble that. Now these are just plastic covers. It's a two-piece design. To get this one off, you'd have to take the crank pulley / mounting balancer off, because on the Subaru they do both. And of course, because I'm a hoarder like that, I did make sure I had all the hardware for it. Whether or not this hardware is worth a damn. Usually they're garbage anyways. Where's the old PV glass? There it is. Get those lubricated up a little bit. Now if I were a smart gal, I would run all these through the cheek poker too. I don't have a bench mounted cheek poker, so I ain't getting the permanent pliers out and switching the disc over on the grinder. Nope, not my style. We're just gonna run them home in there, and now if we break one off, we'll break one off. Not gonna be the end of the world. Absolutely not. Alright, these are infamous 10 mil. It is not like that by any means. Well, that one doesn't seem to want to go home, so we're going to seat these other ones. Snug them up. Tight. Tight. And yes, there we go. Time to cover back on. All right. So, unfortunately, with what I have available, with what parts I found and everything, that just about does it for the engine, or at least for the block, for the long block. Now I'm gonna have to get that VVT valve. It's not gonna be utilized. I'm gonna have to replace. I'm gonna because this one is actually, while I'm thinking about it, that let me get out the little screwdriver. There's actually something down here. Some gunk and stuff. I want to get that out, and I want to blow that out. That's where the passenger, of course, just tools everywhere. This is what I get for not having a garage anymore. On the face. Yep, okay, that goes to nothing. There's a bolt hole there. That's an accessory bolt hole. So are these two. So we're not going to be running air conditioning. One thing I did do last night when I got the car home was I did remove all the air conditioning parts. So if you need a compressor, all the hard lines that are under the hood, plus the condenser, I got it. Shoot a comment down below and we'll hook up and I'll get it out to you. Now, this motor is, as of now, nothing else I can do to it. I don't believe I did drain the oil out of it, so I will have to put some tape over that, make sure that I am aware that there's no oil in it. So when we go to put it in the car and fire it up, put oil in, don't blow it up right away. That'd be my luck. But, alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to the fender of the trailer where I got both intake manifolds that I showed you earlier. We're going to take a look at those. So, here we are with both intakes. Now, there isn't much difference between these two intake manifolds, other than that one's missing the throttle body, and this one is full of garbage. Which is kind of unfortunate. I did not look that over, that this one didn't have a throttle body last night. I just saw that it was in the back of the car. All the bolts are here. I have no gaskets for it right now. There is a big difference, though, for mounting for some weird reason. This has the long intake manifold bolts, because this manifold has longer runners on it that are bolted on, they're not molded in. That's why they sit the same height. If you look at this intake manifold, this just has longer runners from the factory, and it's all cast in as one piece. That's the one difference that I have noticed between these two intake manifolds. It's the same generation of engine. It is not the same design of engine. The 2.5 out of that generation Forester that motor came out of, it came out of a 2007. Even though this is a 2007, things are slightly different, like this intake manifold. So I think we're going to be going with this one. So I'm going to be swapping the throttle bodies over to this one. I'm going to also have to swap the coil pack over. But this was a running, driving car. I know that for a fact when the motor was pulled. It was a Copart auction car, and the guy bought it for the motor. He drove it into his garage and tore the motor out of it. So there's a few things that we're going to have to do, because I unplugged way more things than I should have when I tore this motor apart, because I get plug happy from time to time. Sorry about that, I had to move you guys back a little bit. So, I wish I could remember back. Remembering back. Still can't remember. So, like I said earlier, this was not the intake manifold that came on that motor originally. This intake manifold was on another motor that I pulled out of a car, out of a 2006 Subaru Forester. I just used the long block to rebuild and to put in the 2007 Forester. So that is the block out of the 2007. This is the intake for the 2006. That was no different. This, obviously, like I discussed, is slightly different. So let's swap the coils over quickly. Let's put the plug wires on it. And I'm going to have to go around and see if I can't find my fuel line disconnect tool. We're going to swap that fuel line over too. So, as I was trying to get that fuel line off, I realized that I can't. So, the executive decision has been made by me to pull all the shields off and swap the wiring harnesses over. So, that's what we're going to dig into right now. Of course, it's a 14. Go figure. Or is it half? Gonna find out it's not even 13. Yep, 12's the winner. Okay, so there are the shields, nice and free. Oops, don't want to mess up my spark plug wires, which probably aren't good. So, you'll see that that'll be an ongoing thing. That I think something's good, and it's really. But I did notice that there's a plug missing right here on this manifold, and there's resistant on this one, even though this one's in a lot nicer shape. I don't want to have to battle trying to get this fuel on this connection off here. I don't know. It's just it's hurting my mind. And these wires are all oily. Now that I'm thinking, maybe with the passenger side cylinder head oil pressure switch missing, that might have been the one that pissed out all the oil. I'm worried that motor, there's something wrong with that motor. Now I'm just thinking back and how tough. Well, we're going to revisit that here in a little bit. We're going to make sure that motor's still good, because it does have a hard spot to it when I go to crank it over by hand. So putting all this work and effort into that motor and have it not be a good motor is not good. Alright, those shields will be going on that manifold. Shoot. Of course, there we go. I'm saying I'm trying to be as gentle as possible with these injectors, just in case we do need another set. Yep, always cut towards yourself, safety first. Of course. Yep. Broke the plug. I knew something like that was going to happen too. But, oh well. We will survive. We will overcome with electrical tape. This guy is going to be a bit of a pain to get, because these harnesses are all got all these dumb zip tie things in them. I mean, I guess those don't really matter. So oh no, yeah. Wow. This one's already been yanked out, so is that one. This harness I could care less about. This harness is of no good to me since it's missing that one plug. But the injectors are what's important on this one. That and the throttle body, because since the other one doesn't have a throttle body knife, I could just get a gasket, a new quick connect fuel line, but I'm cheap. This is a cheap race. Okay. Let's get the plug off the coil pack. Oh no, it was coming out. There we go. All right. Two big grounds there. I'm sure they'll never ground again. Yep. That'll be horrific. Going to get those grounds to be grounded again. Be grounding. Part of my disconnect here. So I did get the harness separated down to at least this. Now I'm trying to. There we go. One old harness with a missing plug on it. Now let's see here. I'm going to get a little bit of sandpaper and clean that up. Alright, just got myself a small piece of sandpaper. Yeah, it should be a good enough contact there. I'll do the same with these. Just make sure all my grounds are going to do their thing. Sad cables always give you trouble. Just going to pop those plug wires back in there. So this intake is all ready to accept its new harness. One plug back here that I still got to get. There's my screwdriver. And there we go. Now I just have to get all these stupid things apart. Either that or pull them out one way or the other. There we go. Try to get a screwdriver in here. This harness right out of here. Come on. You're gonna tear me. Perfect. Love it. Exactly what I wanted to happen. Put bolts down here. And I think other than one more, or maybe two more doohickeys. No, that one just broke. That one was brittle. Dear Lord, barely touched that. And this guy back here, which now what did I do on this one? I unzip tied the zip tie. And if I don't absolutely murder my fingers while doing it, I could get it to come apart. Maybe. Maybe. Can I get it out with a pair of pliers? Oh, no, it broke. That's alright. I'm not going to use that one anyways. So I'm going to have to somehow be gentle and cut this away. Not cut any other wires, which that never works out. There we go. Alright. Now, this will be the last thing to do today. Get this thing bolted back on, whichever way it goes. Now I'm confused. Goes this way. See? Look at that. I can forget that easily. It's horrible. I'm ready to soak. This big buffer goes up here. Does this plug into there? That plugs into there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh no, I had that plug here. Don't know what it goes to. That guy plugs into there. Bolts in here. This harness will play nicely. Does not play nicely with others. No, only in this bolt. There we go. Let's go over here. There we go. Alright. Harness is secured in place. Those guys just chill there. One injector, two injectors. That just hangs there. While we're on this side, we will put this cover back on. Make sure everything is copacetic. Copacetic? Copacetic, yeah. Yeah. I don't want to be making up words now. It'd be horrible. Horrible. I'll still make up words. I belong. I like making up words. Makes things more fun when you make up words. And that's how stuff gets broke. It's just like that. Still know what these little plugs go to. Yep, that's cute. I'm glad I'm quick. That side complete. These grounds, we're going to attach these grounds back. Why do some bolts feel longer than others? Riddle me this, but they aren't. Grounds back in place. Now we can work on this side, wherever that harness is. Yep. One injector, two injectors. That's the one with a broken tab on it that busted off. Not bad. But we will have to live with that. So that's back in place. This guy goes. That's not going to go anywhere. That's broken. Not broken, but the thing's ripped apart. So that stupid little zip tie tab. So I'm not going to worry about it. This is the wrong side. Awesome. Grabbed the wrong one. Story of my life. Always the wrong one. There we go. I'm like, I know this fits. Alright. And there we go. Wiring harness swapped over. So now we have all the plugs we need, though we may not utilize all of them. Just because we're not going to have some systems functioning, like the variable valve timing, we're going to leave those unplugged, whichever plug that is. I got a couple plugs here that I need to figure out where they go, things like that, but it'll be a venture. It will be an adventure. So, guess that just about does it. So, hopefully next time we're gonna have a bunch of parts. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna spin the motor over a couple more times, make sure the motor's good to go, and we'll see you guys then. Thank you.